And I just say, God, please help me, let me live, give me one more chance. And I knew people die with their eyes open, so I kept my eyes open. And in doing so, I made a very difficult moral choice, because 5 feet away, 2 meters away, I watch Christine hacked to death before my eyes.
Hey everyone, Erick Staklebeck here. Welcome to this special edition of The Watchman. It was a very busy week for the Biden administration in the Middle East, and in all the wrong ways. Biden officials announced they will be resuming aid to the Palestinian Authority of Mahmoud Abbas, as well as to the UN Relief and Works Agency, also known as UNRWA. Now, President Trump had cut off funding to both entities due to their anti-Israel activities. The Palestinian Authority in particular had its funding cut because of a program that's become known as Pay for Slay, meaning the PA pays lifetime salaries to any Palestinian who carries out a terrorist attack. It's a reward for terror, and Abbas and his cronies call it the Martyr Fund. If the attacker is killed or jailed, his or her family simply gets the money for life. That includes a terrorist who killed U.S. citizen Taylor Force. He was a U.S. military veteran who was stabbed to death by a Palestinian terrorist while studying abroad in 2016. His attacker was shot and killed by Israeli police, but rest assured, the attacker's family was taken care of very nicely. Now, President Trump signed the Taylor Force Act into law in 2018, banning aid to the PA until it dropped this evil practice of rewarding terror. The PA has refused. Nevertheless, the Biden White House is looking to go back to the bad old days, gifting the PA with some $200 million in U.S. taxpayer money. How nice. Israeli tour guide Kay Wilson knows the effect of Pay for Slay all too well. She was attacked by Palestinian terrorists in 2011 and left for dead. Her friend, an evangelical Christian and American citizen, was murdered. Against all odds, Kay survived, and her ordeal and what came next is what she is sharing today with the world. Remember, folks, as you watch, the terrorist who attacked Kay and killed her friend receive lifetime salaries, they and their families, from the Palestinian Authority. Take a look.
I was training to become a guide, a historical guide of the Holocaust in World War II Polish-Germany sites. And I took a trip to Poland in 2010 as a secondary guide, and Christine was one of the group. And she was so enthusiastic with everything Jewish, our history, our people, our books, and of course the Holocaust. And I wanted to show her like the real Israel, you know, take her to a wine bar, help her eat hummus, meet all the great people. So I invited her over for a long weekend, and she came over. She arrived late on the Friday, and on the Shabbat, the Sabbath, I'd planned every day according to the geographical regions, so I wanted to take her to the lowlands and all the history and end up in the Judean mountains. So we end up in the afternoon going on a hike. We both love hiking on the Israel National Trail. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon and we're sitting on a rock. Most beautiful, beautiful place. Like, you know, Israel is sometimes a very dry and unforgiving land, and to have greenery like you have all around here, it's remarkable. And from that rock, I see, crouched in the bushes 60 feet away, I can see 2 men. And as we've spoken, I've been here 3 decades, and I have Arab friends, I have Palestinian friends, and I can see they're Palestinians. They stand up and they ask for water in Hebrew. I answer back in Hebrew that I wish, and they go away. And I'm feeling very uneasy. Maybe they saw my backpack, then they're going to steal it. So I tell Christine we should get back to the car. We pounce up, start walking back very rapidly through the thicket. I take out my penknife just in case they're going to grab a bag. She's behind me, I hear her scream, I turn around, and then it feels like somebody's ramming a log in my back, and I fall to the ground. And one of the guys has got his hand on my head and he's like rubbing my face in the dirt. I managed to turn over. I managed to stab him in the thigh, lightly. He's bigger than me, he takes the penknife, hoists me to my feet. I look around. The other one has got Christine like this with a butcher's knife to her throat. And the one who attacked me, he takes out this machete, a foot long, with a serrated blade. And then begins half an hour standing in the most peaceful, tranquil place where the birds are singing and the crickets are chirping and I can smell the pines. And we're held at knife point for half an hour. And in the beginning, having forgotten in the shock that I spoke to them in Hebrew about the water, I'm trying to pretend we're both tourists, we're both Christians. But he finds my ID, said Israeli, said Jewish. And then the game changed. And I'm conversing with them in Hebrew. I'm saying I'm a tour guide. I said they should take my car, everything, nothing working. And one of them begins to make phone calls, and he's speaking in Arabic, and I know some Arabic, and I can hear he's coordinating with a car. And I suspected at that point a kidnapping. He finishes speaking, he comes over and he says in Hebrew, Toridi na'alaim. So I take off my shoes. Totsi srochim. So I take out the laces and they tie our hands behind our back. The other guy takes Christine's fleece from around her waist, hacks it up, gags us. One takes off my glasses and then he takes off my Star of David. Then he says in Arabic, Shu hadeh, what's this? And I answer back in Hebrew, it's the Magen David, it's a Star of David. And so we're standing gag bound barefoot. And I'm waiting to be pushed off through the forest into a road and then to Gaza, but instead of that, one stands between us. One of the guys pushes me on my knees, shoves my head forward. Forest rings out with this cosmic symphony. They scream, Allahu Akbar. You know, Allah is great. Christine, I don't know how to describe it really, but behind her gag, she said, Jesus help me. And I say, Shema Israel, you know, Hear, O Israel. And he stabs me in the back so hard I fall to the ground. Now I'm leaning on my side and he is, well, he's beating me with the machete. He's stabbing it in so hard it gets stuck in bone. And I can hear my bones crunch and it's over and over and over again. And I just say, God, please help me, let me live, give me one more chance. And I knew people die with their eyes open, so I kept my eyes open. And in doing so, I made a very difficult moral choice because 5 feet away, 2 meters away, I watch Christine hacked to death before my eyes. They leave and they come back seconds later and one turns me on my back. And now I'm looking up at these pine trees and this amazing sunset. And it's suddenly obscured by the silhouette of a hand, a man's hand that God made. And it's holding a knife, and I watch him stab me in the chest, miss my heart by 4 millimeters. They believe we're dead, or I'm dead too, and they leave, and I have one last goal in life, and that's to die, nearer where I parked the car so the police could find my body, and I managed to stand, and I turn my back on what's left of my friend, and step by step, I begin to walk uphill through the thicket with the thorns and I can hear my lungs gurgling and bones are sticking out of me. And I was thinking crazily about the song Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which was written by 2 Jews on the eve of World War II. And by thinking about that music, which also speaks about Jewish hope for a better world, I managed to walk over a mile and there's a family at the picnic table who called the police and the army and the ambulance. I did have like 6 snap ribs, 30 broken bones, bones splintered into my lungs, 13 machete wounds, a dislocated shoulder, a crushed sternum, broken shoulder blade. I was very, very critically injured. Christine's body was found the next morning. Okay, there was a press blackout, and 6 weeks later, the story comes out because I managed to stab the guy, the DNA on my knife, helped the police capture the murderers, and they confessed to murdering another woman, and a terror cell was caught. 9 months after the murder, I found myself in court with them. There was no forensic doubt because of the blood on my knife. They were smug, you know, when the judge said, why did you murder an American Christian? And they shrugged their shoulders and they rolled their eyes and they said, oh, we thought she was Jewish. My vengeance is twofold. One, it's to live life well, to be thankful for everything I have. And to deal with the rage and the loss, I decided that I'm going to direct my energy through legal channels and do everything I can to stop the funding of Palestinian terrorism, because these people actually get a monthly salary from the Palestinian Authority, shockingly so. And I'm going to do everything I can to make sure they're never released from jail. And whenever I can, like in this program now, I will speak well of my friend and I'll speak of the goodness of Israel. But I also have to bear witness to what evil does.
Kay Wilson is one courageous woman. Folks, if you like that powerful clip, be sure to check out our Watchman TV show on TBN every Wednesday night at 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time and Fridays at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. You can also check out clips from the show right here on our YouTube channel. Until next time, God bless you. And remember, never